What is going on, Mean Green Nation? My name is Gavin Dunaway, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Mean Green Sports Machine's ScrappyCap, where we are going to give you some of the highlights and scores from last week's performances in UNT athletics. So let's get right into it. Beginning with our women's basketball team, they played 2 games last week in the Super Pit. Their first was against Old Dominion, which ended in a gut-wrenching 72-71 loss. After destroying a double-digit deficit in just 60 seconds, the last shot put up by North Texas just wouldn't fall in. Some key players from that night include Anisha George, who earned a double-double, and Terrielle Bradley, who scored 15 points. Their other game from last week was against the Charlotte 49ers. And yet again, Terrielle Bradley and Anisha George played another huge role in this game. But the end of result this time was a 68-63 comeback win over the 49ers. George earned her third straight double-double with 15 points and 16 rebounds. Terrielle Bradley scored 20 points that game as well. Moving on to our men's basketball team, they played 2 away games, and much like the women did at home, the men suffered a 72-61 defeat against Old Dominion. Ultimately, a large factor that led to this defeat was poor free throw shooting. They also struggled at the rim, being out-rebounded by 9. Up in North Carolina, though, the men were able to redeem themselves with a 73-66 win over the 49ers. Both Roosevelt Smart and Umoja Gibson played huge roles in that victory. Smart and Gibson managed to score 19 points, and Gibson managed to score a record high 5 3-pointers in that outing. Wrapping up the show this week, we have our women's tennis team who played TCU and UTEP. On Friday, they lost to TCU by a total score of 6-1. And on Saturday, they managed to beat UTEP with a total score of 4-0. That just about does it this week for our first show, and thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you follow us on social media to continue promoting the awesome athletic programs we have here at UNT. This has been Gavin Dunaway with your weekly Scrappy Cap from the Mean Green Sports Machine.